The views expressed by the host on this program are still documented to be almost always right, 99.7% of the time. You can trust it. You can count on it. You can believe it. Telephone number if you want to be on the program, 800-282-2882, and the email address, lrushbo@eibnet.com. Folks, I still have some audio sound bites remaining here on this ISIS business. I've kind of divvied it up as we've discussed it today, but there's still some things that I'd like to share with you. And I will get started here. Charlie Rose last night on PBS, Charlie Rose Show. He's interviewing the... Oh, wait. Just a second. There's one before I get there. Where is it? Don't tell me what did I do with it? I could have sworn I had a soundbite here from, yes, grab audio soundbite number 6. This is so inspiring. Mr. Snerdley, you have to hear this is so inspiring. This is on Capitol Hill today. The Senate Armed Services Committee held a confirmation hearing for the Secretary of Defense nominee, Ashton Carter. And during the Q&A, Senator McCain of Arizona said, "What do you understand the strategy for combating ISIS to be?" Okay, so simple, straightforward question. This is Secretary of Defense nominee, Ashton Carter. McCain wants to know, so what are we going to do? How do you see us fighting these guys?
The a strategy connects ends and means, and our ends with respect to ISIL needs to be its lasting defeat. I say lasting because it's important that when they get defeated, they stay defeated. And that is why it's important that we have those on the ground there who will ensure that they stay defeated once defeated.
Isn't that inspiring? 33 seconds there of sheer excitement, sheer awe-inspiring confidence in our ability here and how we're going to defeat ISIS. Now, McCain's question, what do you understand the strategy for combating ISIS to be? And our defense secretary nominee said, the strategy connects ends and means. Right on, dude, right on. And our ends with respect to, excuse me, Senator, ISIL needs to be its lasting defeat. Now, obviously, the senators didn't know what that meant. Lasting defeat. So our nominee clarified. I say lasting because it's important that when they get defeated, they stay defeated. Man, folks, are we lucky? Where do we find these people? Where in the world do we go? How far down do we have to go? How high up do we have to go to find such amazing and qualified people? Well, Senator, we're going to beat them. That's the strategy. And when we beat them, they're going to stay beat. That's what I mean. Once they're defeated, they're defeated. We're going to defeat them, they're going to stay defeated. Man, you got to go to Harvard or Yale to be able to answer that, right? Man, oh man. So now we move on from that to Charlie Rose, who no doubt will be interviewing this guy after he becomes Secretary of Defense. And that'll be fun. Anyway, Charlie's talking to the former director of the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, Lieutenant General Mike Flynn. And Charlie Rose says, did we get a treasure trove of stuff from bin Laden when they killed him? A lot of things in terms of what he thought, what he was trying to do. Do we really clean up by doing that?
We really do have to come to grips with defining it. We just have to. And it doesn't mean that we're any less respectful of the Islamic religion. Why do we, for example, when we detain somebody, Gitmo, why do we give them a Quran, a prayer rug, and make sure that they have all the time in the world to practice their religion?
Because we have a value that says you respect freedom of religion.
So why don't we recognize the fact that these guys are, in fact, Islamic extremists? Why did we bury bin Laden wrapped in a white sheet in a somewhat respectful way? What I'm saying is that we already recognize that this is an Islamic problem.
By the fact that we show respect to them and give them a Quran.
So why not just call it
that there's a connection
right.
between them?
We connect them.
Good grief, what did I just hear? Charlie Rose just had an epiphany moment. He said, aha, okay, I get it now. I have to parse this. I'm sorry. So this guy, Mike Flynn, is obviously frustrated that we're handcuffing ourselves, that we're tying one of our arms behind our, but we don't even properly identify these people. And then he says, why? If they're not Islamists, why do we give them a Quran at Gitmo? Why do we give them a prayer rug? And make sure they have all the time in the world to practice their religion. And Charlie, like a good liberal, says, because we have a value that says we respect freedom of religion. Well, yeah, for citizens, Charlie. For citizens, yeah. Isn't it convenient how the Constitution is infallible on certain things, like freedom of religion for our enemies. But you talk about the Second Amendment or other things for American citizens, we've got to change it. Freedom of religion. Yeah, we have values, American values, Mike. That's why we give them a Quran, and that's why we give them. And so this guy, he says, Charlie still doesn't get it. He says, okay, so why don't we recognize the fact that these guys are in fact Islamist extremists? Why do we bury bin Laden wrapped in a white sheet in a respectful way? What I'm saying, Charlie, we already recognize it is an Islamic problem. And Charlie, by the fact that we show respect, to them and give them a Quran, we're recognizing there's a connection between them. And Flynn goes, that's right. We connect them, Charlie. You see, we buried bin Laden with full Islamic regalia, and we give them Qurans and prayer rugs at Gitmo, and then we're told that they're not Islamists. And Charlie finally had it explained to him in a way he could understand it. And for him, I guarantee you, this is one of the happiest nights of his life. A light went off. And he finally couldn't figure this out on his own. Or didn't. Maybe it's not that he couldn't, it's just that he didn't. So, will he remember it? Yeah, that's not the question. It's not a question, will he remember it? Will he now utilize what he knows in whatever interviews he conducts? Or will he revert back to, well, why do we know they're Islamists? What gives us that indication? Are we really correct in assuming? Remember when he talked to Brokaw about Obama, they were reveling in how much they didn't know about the guy. Like 5 days before telling everybody they should vote for him. Anyway, there's one more soundbite to this. And Mike Flynn, after the light goes on in Charlie Rose's head, I'm not making fun of Charlie. I think this is, folks, I think it's fascinating. The way liberals learn things. Things that you and me connect instantly that are just common sense. It took a former DIA head to explain to Charlie, well, you know what? We give them a Quran. Yeah, because we believe in freedom of religion. No, we give them a Quran because they're Islamists. Oh, yeah. And we buried bin Laden with full Muslim ceremony. Oh, yeah, that's right. Why, we wouldn't do that if he wasn't Muslim, right? That's what Charlie's thinking. So he had it explained to him, and the conversation continued.
We have various assessments that call them like they are. And in fact, even in the Arab world, the Arab leaders, they will call it like it is. So why is it that the United States has such a difficult problem? I mean,
well, do you think the president has a difficult problem?
I do. I think he does. I think he's got a challenge with calling it like it is.
The White House doesn't like to call it the Islamic State, as you know.
Right.
I mean, they call it Daesh, as you know.
Right. I mean, I just think that, call it like it is. let's get off the dime and just call it like it is.
Listen, I guess Charlie still argued with the guy even after the light went off. Well, Obama says it's not Islamic, so it must not be. I don't care what you said to me, Mike. Yeah, it makes it perfect. But Obama says it isn't. They call it Daesh or something. Right. I mean, I think, call it like it is. Let's go off the dime. Let's call it like it is. Well, the president says it isn't. Charlie, I just explained to you, and you just got it. Why they are Islamists. Yeah, I know, but the president doesn't call them that. So can we? I mean, Charlie didn't say that's the thought process. I just wanted you to hear that. Skip number 9. We move now to Senator McCain this morning on CNN's New Day. And a former Fox anchorette, Allison Camerota, is interviewing McCain. She said, do you feel that now, because of the depravity of this particular act, the burning of the Jordanian pilot, do you think there's going to be more of an appetite in Congress to take on ISIS in terms of more boots on the ground?
There's already significant appetite in Congress. I've just seen no change in the White House. Have no doubt, ISIS is winning. We are neither degrading nor destroying ISIS.
Now, Allison works at CNN now, so she's got to push back on this one, which she did. McCain just said ISIS is winning. We are not degrading. We are not destroying ISIS. And Allison Camerota said, well, I just want to stop you for a second, because our military analysts have said the U.S. coalition is pushing back ISIS, that they are losing some of the ground in the territory they've taken, and that we have killed some of their leaders. You disagree with that, Senator?
Of course. No, we are not winning, and that is the opinion of outside military experts, literally every one of them I know. And if there have been some gains, they've been minuscule.
Obviously, McCain's right on this. The UAE, don't forget, United Arab Emirates, has pulled out because of any attempt to join us in defeating ISIS or even fighting them, because they don't feel we have a full-fledged commitment to it. I mean, you get right down to it, that's why the UAE, now I don't know how much help they were providing, but they were an ally, but no more. They pulled out. So this morning on the Senate floor, Senator Dick Durbin takes to the Senate floor to denounce ISIS. Or wait, does he?
Yesterday, we were informed of another barbaric act by ISIS, literally burning a Jordanian pilot to death in a cage. It's an indication of the threat, not just to the Middle East, but to the world, of terrorism in its extreme, as ISIS demonstrates on a regular basis. The same day we learned this, I visited the Department of Homeland Security and met with the Secretary, Jay Johnson, and talked about the political strategy of the Republicans when it comes to funding the Department of Homeland Security.
Wait a minute, he didn't denounce ISIS. He shows up to denounce Republicans. That's what he did. I thought for a moment where he was going to go with this, just like we did at Guantanamo Bay. Because remember, Dick Durbin is famous for comparing our tactics at Guantanamo Bay to the gulags of the Soviet Union and Pol Pot and all that. So here he is, denounces what ISIS did, and then ends up by ripping the Republicans for whatever funding they do or don't want to extend to the Department of Homeland Security.